The the one correction I'd make, Drummond, is I'm afraid we're about to hit the all-time low in this election. I think we're going to see a race run on one side that's going to be about how somebody is different and not like us. And by the way, did you notice that he's black? And I think that's what we're going to see in the campaign coming up. In any case, what I'm here to talk about, and I hope, Alex, that was I'm still sort of rattled by having seen what you just showed. I hope I'll get a chance by the end of this. Drummond has made clear to us that he is going to stick closely, as he did, to that 18-minute time limit. But I want to show you, if I can, a national security message that we just tested that has to do with precisely what you're talking about, that wins by 20 points in the center of the electorate. That is just about what happens when we allow these kind of abuses. And it is, in fact, I think, through a combination of both what the Bush administration has done and the complicity of our side in not fighting it back and in fearing that the public won't be with us because we're afraid that they're not with us. We're afraid they're not smart enough. It isn't about smartness. It's about emotional intelligence. It's about connecting with what they feel when they see something like this, and that's how we have to talk with them. And that's what I'm going to talk about today, and that is, how do we go from the think tank to the living room, the living room or the kitchen table? How do we stop using the words, the language, the imagery, the sights and sounds that turn people off and that resonate with us often as activists, but actually don't do anything for most people who are the ones who have to vote for the people who would implement the policies that we would like to see happen. And I hope I won't offend about half the people in the room by telling you that the words that are the names of your organizations are part of the problem. But I will be telling you that the words that are the names of many of your organizations are part of the problem. So to get there, what I'm going to do is first I'm going to talk about some ideas that are derived from my book, The Political Brain, and that are about the role of emotion in politics, and how the only answer to the kind of Orwellian tactics we've seen is to have both sides understand how the mind and the brain works, so both sides can appeal to people in ways that actually resonate with them and let them duke it out that way, rather than having one side appeal to people emotionally and the other side appeal to them with 12-point plans. And we've seen what's happened when that's the terms of the debate. But the second part of what I want to do is to describe some new data. We have just put together in collaboration, my consulting firm with Stan Greenberg and Greenberg, Quinlan, Rossner, the pollster. We've just put together a progressive messaging handbook on the 10 biggest issues out there that many of which have been killing us for years. Things like abortion and guns and gays and taxes and the role of government and national security, as well as some of the issues like the economy. And I'm going to show you a few of the things that we found from that. The good news that I should tell you is that with well-crafted messages, we can win the electoral debate on every one of those issues, almost all by double digits, and many by 20 points. And these are often issues that progressive leaders, parentheses, Democrats, run from like the plague. And I can tell you, I come from the state of Georgia, and I'm advising candidates in Georgia to run on abortion from a center-left position, because they will win from a center-left position on abortion. And if I get a chance to show you that one of those messages, I will. I am, though, a psychologist, and I have to start with an experiment. And I'm afraid you're the unwitting participants. So if you'd all get out your imaginary consent forms, thank you for signing them. I hope Alex doesn't do a documentary about this now. I'd like you to memorize the following pairs of words. Are you ready? Ocean, moon, glasses, chair, face, floor. Okay, do you have those? Okay, now, what I'd like you to do is you really have to do this. So when I raise my hand, I just need you to shout out, just yell out the first automobile that comes to your mind. Okay, so when my hand goes up, just shout out the first automobile that comes to your mind. Ready? Okay, no consensus. That was just a check to make sure this was a progressive audience. I wanted to make sure that there are no conservatives who had wandered into the room. All right, now, now what I'd like to do is, no talking points here. Now what I'd like to do is I'm going to raise my hand, and again, wait until I've got my hand up. When a hand comes up, just shout out the name of the first laundry detergent that comes to your mind. Okay, you ready? Well, isn't that interesting? Amen. How many of you said Tide? Pretty large number. I can tell you in groups from anywhere from about 10 to 3,000, I can reliably get somewhere between 85 and 95% of people to say Tide. Now, the market share of Tide is 41%. That means I should be working for Procter & Gamble. I'd make a lot more money than what I do now. But the question is, why do you say Tide? If I had more time, I'd actually go around there and ask some of you, because you'd give the same fallacious answers that people give in focus groups that led the Kerry campaign to decide not to touch the Swift boat ads because they didn't want to dignify them, because people said, no, you don't want to, or they don't talk about Abu Ghraib because people don't like to hear about that, and it's not good, and it'll play itself out by itself. In fact, the reason why many of you said Tide was because I primed you with the word pair ocean moon. And what that did was to activate outside of your awareness what's called a network of associations. That is an interconnected set of thoughts and feelings and images and ideas that have been connected up through experience. Now, that network, if you look at it up here, you'll see ocean, moon, waves, tide. I never said waves or tide, but those were activated at a latent state of activation in your brain. They were unconsciously more active than they had been a few seconds earlier. When I then said laundry detergent, it activated all, fab, cheer. By the way, for those of you who didn't say tide, you should see your neurologist right away. But you'll see that at the intersection of those two networks is only one thing, and that is tide. It was doubly activated, and that's why it comes to your consciousness. I would love to show you a clip that I often show of the networks active at Fox. It's a great Freudian slip by Shepard Smith that illustrates these principles, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. But I'm gonna kind of blow ahead.